A lot of talk that the Bears are interested in Myles Garrett. Well, the Lions can't allow that to happen.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Oh, hey-oh, let's do this. It's a Tuesday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Matt Derry with you on February 4th into a Wednesday, February 5th. Thanks for making us your first listen, everybody. Thanks for checking us out wherever you get your podcasts, whether you are on the Odyssey app or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or those of you that subscribe and watch for free on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Thank you for checking us out. It is a Tuesday edition of Locked On Lions. We're going to talk some Senior Bowl tomorrow, not with Jim Nagy. He is very, very busy, the executive director of the Reese's Senior Bowl. But Jeff Risdon from Lions Wire was in Mobile. We had Brett Whitefield on last week, got his thoughts. Want to recap the Senior Bowl again and just talk about the draft a little bit more with Jeff Risdon, lionswire.com and USA Today. We'll do that tomorrow on the program. Locked On Lions today is proudly brought to you by our friends at the Gametime app. Looking for tickets for anything? Check out Gametime. Download the Gametime app. Create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Thank you to our everydayers that are out there that watch and listen to the podcast daily. That includes my guy Turner Batdorf, one of the original everydayers. And how about this? We got to say hello and happy 70th birthday to my guy, the king, Jody Batdorf. Jody Batdorf just turned 70 last week. Big bash with his son, with his daughter, and of course, Mama Batdorf. Love you like a brother, Jody. And I'm pissed that the Lions lost to the Commanders because I would have seen Jody at the NFC Championship game. I always love hanging with the nicest man there is, Jody Batdorf. So happy birthday, brother. Big 7-0. He's in great shape. He doesn't even look like he's 70. All right. We got to talk about Myles Garrett some more today. We got a call of the day. We got to talk about a little bit of a state of the team situation. I'm starting to see something with the other teams in this town mimicking the Lions. And this is great. It's almost historic. All of that coming up on today's program right here on Locked On Lions. First things first, yesterday we discussed it. All right. In case you missed it, go back and watch and listen. Myles Garrett is available. He wants out of Cleveland. Now, the Browns are going to dig in. They're going to say they're not trading him. They're going to say they're not going to give up anything. They're not going to give in to his demands. But the Pro Bowl and All-Pro defensive end, NFL Defensive Player of the Year 2 years ago, could be the Defensive Player of the Year again this year, wants to win and is turning 30 and has asked the Browns to trade him and has made it very public. Yesterday, I told you, I'm all in. I don't want to go too crazy. I see both sides, but let's get Myles Garrett to Detroit. What did I say? GMN, get Myles now and put him opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. And I slept on it some more, and I watched some highlights, and I was on YouTube and talked to some friends in Cleveland. And the more I think about it, the more I think fans are crazy. I'm not saying anything negative about my audience. I'm just saying, if you're out there going, well, we can't give up draft picks. That's where Brad is so good. Absolutely, Brad is excellent at the draft. Brad Holmes, the Lions general manager, is phenomenal at the draft. He's very good at the draft. But Brad Holmes was very good at the draft, still is, but was great at the draft when the Lions were picking third or seventh, and they were or second when they took Hutchinson, or seventh when they got Sewell, or whatever it was. Now the Lions will be picking 28th again this year. All right. They won 15 football games this past season, and they get to pick 28th. And I think we're at a point now where I'm not ready to say, and I said this yesterday, Brad Holmes should not abandon what he does. And I don't think necessarily in my heart that I think he will do this. But the more you watch Myles Garrett play, I was watching the highlights yesterday. Did anybody go back and watch the Myles Garrett blocked field goal in Indianapolis 2 seasons ago? 2023 season. Go back and watch Myles Garrett. All right. Who is Myles Garrett is, let me get you exact measurements. All right. 6'4", 272. The guy is hurdling linemen at 6'4", 272 to block a field goal. In that same game, he caused a safety of Gardner Minshew. This is a guy that has been an all-pro player, all-pro, 6 times. 4 times first-team all-pro, 2 times second-team all-pro. All right, he was a first-team all-pro this season. He's been to the Pro Bowl 6 times. He's been the NFL Defensive Player of the Year once. He has 102.5 sacks in his career. All right, which spans now 8 seasons. Think about his sack totals for a second here. First year, he played in just 11 games, 7 sacks. Since then, 13.5, 10, 12, 16, 16, 14, and 14. He did not miss a football game this year for the 3-14 Cleveland Clowns. 14 sacks. He's got 20 forced fumbles. The guy's a monster. I'm not sitting here talking, we can't trade for I'll just use an example. Khalil Mack. We've talked about Khalil Mack in free agency. Khalil Mack's a great player, has had a great career, might even be a Hall of Famer. This guy's special. Myles Garrett, special. And you look at the numbers and you think about the trade. And now there's reports and talk. Adam Schefter was on SportsCenter this morning or one of these ESPN shows saying Bears could be interested. Do you want like the Chicago Bears to get the most feared defensive lineman in the game and you got to face him twice a year? I don't. So you tell me that Brad Holmes is going to have to trade a first-round pick, of course. Might have to trade a second-round pick, of course. Maybe another first-round pick. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. But logically, the Browns are also going to ask for Hendon Hooker, like I said yesterday. I have no problem with it. Jared Goff is your quarterback for the next 4 or 5 years at least, unless he really regresses. The Lions think he's continuing to ascend. No, I know some of you are going to go, I want Hendon Hooker. He can move. He can run. Goff's a statue, blah, blah, blah. Come on, guys. Come on. Jared Goff just made another Pro Bowl. Heck, Jared Goff was just the Pro Bowl offensive MVP. I know they were in T-shirts and shorts, but he was. My point is, if that's what the Browns are asking for, a 1, a 2, and Hooker, you got to do it. And then you got to pay the man too. If they can find, what have the Lions done very, very well under Mike Disner and the cap people in that front office? They have been able to draft, develop, sign, keep players. Remember when everybody, they can't keep Aleem McNeil? No way. Taylor Decker won't reach, too expensive. Other than really losing, Jonah Jackson this past year? Have the Lions really lost a lot of key members of their team to free agency? And they picked up a Kevin Zeitler, in exchange for Jonah Jackson, and Zeitler had a much better year. When you win, players will take less money. They will take 1-year deals like a Zeitler did. When the Lions wanted if the Lions would have wanted Kevin Zeitler 8 years ago, they would have had to have paid him a lot more money than the $6.5 million he made this year. I'm not saying he's going to give him another hometown discount this offseason if they want to re-sign him, which I think they do, but you figure it out. As I said yesterday, if this means Jamison Williams has to go, or a few trades have to be made, or a Glasgow has to get cut, or a DJ Reader has to get cut in order to free up cap space to bring in Myles Garrett and figure out an extension, so be it. I love DJ Reader. I think Jamison Williams is a star in the making. All right, there's plenty of guys on this team I like. We're talking about Myles Garrett here. Myles Garrett had an off year in 2021. He had 16 sacks. Oh, man, he wasn't as good in 2020 during the COVID year. He still had 12 sacks and 4 forced fumbles. Myles Garrett and Aiden Hutchinson on the same team? Count me in. I'm in. I'm really all in. I'm like Matt Damon in Rounders. Pay the man his money. Machni. I even have the Matt Damon scar in my nose, just like he did in the movie. Oh, man. Hit me up on social media. Hit me up on our YouTube comments. Interested in your thoughts on this. But the more I think about it, the more I just think the Lions have got to be all in on Myles Garrett. Am I trading 3 number ones and Jahmyr Gibbs? No, I'm not doing the Mike Tannenbaum buffoonery. No. I want it to be reasonable, but I want him to be aggressive about it. And I would do it. Oh, but Jadeveon Clowney said a few years ago he's all about himself. Oh, we're listening to Jadeveon Clowney now? Myles Garrett is up for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. Plays every game. He's on the Browns, and he does well. Get out of here with that stuff. I heard somebody ask me about that today. Well, Clowney ripped out. Oh, okay. One of his teammates said something bad about him. Boo. Boohoo. Want to get more into the defensive line? We'll do that coming up next. Jeff Risdon tomorrow to recap the Senior Bowl. Locked On Lions for a Tuesday. Oh, folks, you know what's going on this Sunday. We got the big game. Oh, yeah. Can't say the real name, so we'll call it the big game. It's almost here, and there's no better way to make it even more exciting than with our friends at PrizePicks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. With over 10 million members and billions in winnings awarded, PrizePicks makes it fun and simple to get in on the action. Here's how it works. You pick more or less on at least 2 player stat projections, and if you're right, you could win up to 1,000 times your cash. PrizePicks even has a free pick for the big game where Patrick Mahomes only needs to throw 1 yard to win. 1. So you pair that with one more correct pick, you're cashing out. How about that? This week, I'm looking at the board. I'm thinking Saquon Barkley over 80 yards rushing. I think he has a big game Sunday night in the big game. Check out the promos tab to tail any of the super sweet Millie Winners big game lineups. If you tail a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split of $1 million in promo funds. Download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. I'm back in a Tuesday edition of Locked On Lions, Locked On Podcast Network. Please, everybody, we talked about it before. Check out Brian Fisher, Locked On Red Wings, Koo at Locked On Pistons, Scotty, Locked On Tigers. Support all of the shows here on the network, especially the local shows, where you get your teams every single day. Real fast on the draft, all right, because everybody's talking about Brad Holmes in the draft and making the comment that we can't trade draft picks because Brad is so good in the draft, and he is good in the draft. Think about this past year. How vital were the players that Brad Holmes drafted in this past year's draft, because the Lions had very good depth and won 15 games, right? Ask yourself that question. The first round pick where the Lions traded up to 24 to get Terrion Arnold, of course. Lions needed a corner, needed a starter, got him in the Alabama corner. The Lions' second round pick was Ennis Rakestraw, the corner from Missouri, and he barely played. The Lions' fourth round pick after a trade up was Giovanni Manu, who never played. Sione Vaki, hey Vaki Town, fourth round, was basically a special teamer at running back. Mekhi Wingo, sixth round pick, nice rotational piece out of LSU in the D tackle. I liked him when he was out there. He wasn't out there that much, and then he got hurt. And Christian Mahogany was the second, sixth round pick, also traded up for, could become a starter and played very well, but only played in 5 games. 5. So we sit here right now and go, yeah, some Lions fans will say, yeah, but draft. That's what Brad does. I'm not saying forfeit all your picks. But if you're picking 28th, that means you're good. How big of an impact will the number 28 pick have compared to what you might get if you can acquire number 95 from the Cleveland Browns? There's nobody at 28 that is going to do what Myles Garrett does. And I get it. Myles Garrett is turning 30. Myles Garrett's going to want 35, 40 million a year. Maybe his body breaks down. Maybe. But what if next year he's an absolute game wrecker playing for a contract? He's got 2 years left. Hutchinson comes back. McNeil comes back. Who's going to want to face that Lions front? Not many people. And you look at the situation right now with the D line. Levi Onwuzurike, free agent. Zadarius Smith, final year of his contract. Getting paid about $15 million, $16 million next year. Al-Qadim Muhammad, who had a nice season as a backup and a rotational piece, free agent. John Kaminsky coming back from injury, free agent. McNeil coming back from injury. Not sure Aleem will be ready for the training camp. So maybe even the start of the season. Trevor Nowaski. I mean, you want me to keep going? In order to win in this league, you've got to disrupt the other team's quarterback. Look what's left this weekend. Watch Chris Jones play. Watch Karlaftis play. Watch Jalen Carter play. Watch Nolan Smith play. Watch Milton Williams play. The Eagles and Chiefs win up front. Their D lines are ferocious. They got pass rushers. They got interior guys. The Lions have, if they can get Hutchinson healthy and McNeil back, are going to be pretty good. All right, DJ Reader is fine. I wasn't wowed by him this year, but whatever. Same with Zadarius Smith. The Lions, yeah, I'm sorry, but Myles Garrett is at this premium position where you need help. D-line is a big deal. Big deal. All right, real fast. We got a call of the day coming up momentarily. We'll get to that in a second. Anybody paying attention to what is going on? And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm veering off of football for a second, but bear with me because it's going to come back to Lions talk. But last night I was sitting down and I watched the entire second half of the Pistons and the Atlanta Hawks. So tomorrow night I will be live and direct from the LCA, hanging with some buddies for Pistons and Cavs. I got invited to go. So shout out to Joe Allen, MSA, Mid-States Advisors. Oh, yeah. Number one. Great people. Great company. Shout out to Fadi. Should I just do a whole Mid-States rant? Wait till Joe hears this. But no, seriously. So I'm going to the Pistons game tomorrow night, and I was watching last night, and I was thinking as I was watching, do the Pistons remind me of like the going to work teams, like 04, 05, 06, 07? A little. All right. But you can't compare Rashid, Ben, Rip, Chauncey, and Tay to this group. Not yet. All right. Corliss, JB off the bench. I covered all those teams. You guys know, you used to listen. I'm actually going to compare the Pistons to the Lions. The Pistons are a B. Rhymes with snitch to play against. The Pistons play hard. Very hard. Their effort is phenomenal. They do not give up. Hawks were up 11 3 minutes ago. Looked like it was curtains. The Pistons play hard every possession. And if you watch NBA basketball, that's not the case with every team. That's probably not the case with most teams. There are plenty of teams that mail it in and lick the stamp twice a month. The Pistons do not. JB Bickerstaff, albeit his inbounds play at the end of the game was terrible, that guy's got this team playing hard. And it reminds me of the Lions. They're playing, they're physical, they wear on you. They're like the Lions. Red Wings get a new coach, Todd McClellan. They've won like 6, 7 in a row. They're playing hard. The Tigers were gritty and grimy at the end of the year, made the playoffs, won a playoff series, and were a tough out. The Lions kind of started something here in this town where we've got to turn around again. All of our teams are relevant. Remember how many years it was that the baseball team was not relevant? The hockey team has made the playoffs and who knows how long. Everybody ripping on the Iser plan and the loan and all this crap. Pistons, come on. They haven't been on your radar in years. And now all of these teams, I'm not saying they've all emulated the Lions, but I think the Lions have started something where these teams know there's a standard, and the Lions have set the standard. So, yes, we're all going to be disappointed Sunday, turning on the Super Bowl and going, man, I wish the Lions were there. This sucks seeing the team in white against the team in green. I wish we could have seen the Honolulu Blue. But just remember how proud you should be as a Lions fan that they kind of set the tone for this town and how these teams play. And it's starting to pay off. And I love it. I love it. I think there's a synergy there. I truly believe that. So, Lions should be proud of what they've done. By the way, Hogan Hatton and Jake Bates supporting Jack Fox at the Pro Bowl games. You guys see that video on the Lions website and on their socials? It was great. Talk about great teammates and great dudes. Lions long snapper and, of course, Lions kicker, Jake Bates, the man that single-handedly destroyed the kicker list. All right, call of the day. And if you want to be our call of the day, go to speakpipe.com/Dairy Podcast page. That's coming up next. All right, hey fam, what about Gametime, the best ticket app out there? If you're looking for tickets for your next big event, maybe last-minute tickets to the big game next week, whether it's a concert, a comedy show, or a sports game, finding the right ticket at the right price can be a headache. But with Gametime Picks, it's never been easier. Let me tell you how it works. With Gametime Picks, the app does all the hard work for you. It curates the best deals, so you don't have to waste time searching through endless ticket listings. I've been using Gametime Picks for a while now. Here's why I love it. Curated deals makes it super simple to find tickets at a great price. No more sifting through thousands of options. Also, the view from your seat. The seat view feature is a game changer. You're going to know exactly where you're sitting. You can scroll left, scroll right, and get a feel for it right there. Even before I hit buy, I can see exactly where my seat will look like in the venue. It is very reassuring. The best part, you're covered with Gametime's lowest price guarantee. Find a better deal somewhere else, they'll refund 110% of the difference. Plus, your tickets are guaranteed to be delivered on time with easy cancellation options if something comes up. Ready to make your next event even better? Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, folks. I love hearing from the audience, the fans. You guys have been great. Love my listeners. Love my viewers right here on Locked On Lions. We've been doing the show since 2016. And it's a great time right now to be a Lions fan. By the way, we got the draft combine end of February, and then free agency starts March 10th. So that's going to be cool as well. Call of the day today, our man Chubbs is checking in on call of the day. Again, you want to be our call of the day. You can go to speakpipe.com/Dairy Podcast page. I got a couple others that came in the other day that I need to get to as well. But here's our man Chubbs checking in. He is our call of the day.
What's up, Matt? Everydayer Chubbs here. Just wanted to get a quick question in. Of course, with this Myles Garrett trade request out here, is it only right to trade two late first for him? I mean, we don't have to extend J-Mo, Laporta, or Hutch for at least 2 years. You think we should go for it?
All right, there's Chubbs checking in on our call of the day. Two late first. So the Chubbs is basically saying you're trading the 28th pick this year, and then next year, because you're going to be good again, unless the Lions do some sort of nosedive, which I don't see happening, you'd be trading next year's number one. So the next 2 years, number ones. You know, everybody talks around the NFL. All right. If the Bears make an offer to the Browns, you know somehow that will leak to the Lions. If the Lions make an offer to the Browns, you know somehow that's going to leak to Chicago or Atlanta or Denver or whoever is out there considering a Myles Garrett trade. Again, I said this on the podcast yesterday. There is no way in Hades that Andrew Berry, the general manager of the Browns, is trading Myles Garrett to the Steelers, the Ravens, or the Bengals. I can tell you that much. The teams are going to be aggressive. A general manager like Chris Ballard in Indianapolis, under fire with the Colts. All right. Their fan base is livid. This is this is Ballard's last straw. If the Colts stink, he's gone. He has to make a splash there. Right. The Vikings, would be interested in somebody like Myles Garrett. There's a lot of Dallas has been bandied about. All right. I don't know how the Cowboys can afford Myles, but that's a Jerry Jones type move. But all of these teams that make offers or talk to Andrew Berry, it gets leaked out. I don't know if anybody's offering 2 number ones just yet. Again, the reason being he's going to want a contract extension. You're going to have to pay him between $35 and $40 million a year, and he's 30 years old. I mean, Luka Doncic didn't even fetch a second first round pick, just one in that Lakers Mavs trade the other day. So I don't know. I don't know if I would trade 2 number ones, but I would trade, as I said before, a 1 and a 2 and a 3, or a 1 and a 2 and a player to make this happen. And I truly believe trading this first round pick in this draft, which is not that strong, at number 28, that I would definitely do. I just think the player is that good, that big of an impact. And think about how offenses would have to prepare for the Lions if you've got Aiden Hutchinson on one side, back healthy, and Myles Garrett on the other. That's a heck of a sandwich that you're dealing with. So that would be pretty crazy. Jeff Risdon, who does a masterful job at lionswire.com, was at the Senior Bowl. I want to wrap up the Senior Bowl one last time, including the game on Saturday. We had Brett Whitefield on last Friday. Didn't get to talk about the game Saturday. We will do that with Jeff tomorrow and get his thoughts on the Lions and Myles Garrett. He used to cover the Browns as well for the Browns Wire. We'll have Jeff on tomorrow right here on Locked On Lions. Thanks, everybody, for making us your first listen. Checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Have a safe Tuesday into Wednesday. We are back again tomorrow.